fight for the betterment of our country.
You know what? I'm gonna challenge you on that. I don't think they lack the political courage. I think they lack the integrity to do what's right.
Yes. Yeah, that too. I agree with that.
I mean, but, you're running for office, so you got to be careful what you say. I don't. And I'm here to tell you that I am adamantly opposed to this kind of behavior. If you're going to sit there and vote for the NDAA, I have absolutely no respect for you, and that's a single-issue voter issue for me.
Yeah, Yeah, and I definitely want to address everything that you just talked about. The first thing that I want to make sure I make clear is that the Declaration for Independence that I have, I'm not trying to remake the Constitution. I swore an oath to support and defend the Constitution. That will never change.
Right.
What I'm trying to do with that is my guide, so that the people know before I vote on any legislation, we got to make sure it's good legislation. We got to make sure we have three things we have to do. Make sure we have all the facts. After we gather the facts, we got to verify those facts, that they are facts, and not like the president comes out and says something and says that is a fact. No, it's not. Just because he says it's a fact, it's not a fact, so we have to verify it. The second thing that we have to do is make sure that everything that we pass is going to fix the problem, that we're not going to support legislation that's going to create problems for or problems for us and benefit special interests. And the third thing we need to do is to tell the people why we need to fix those problems. I believe, as our founding fathers believed, that 27 grievances that they wrote against King George, and why we decided to separate or to fight for independence, those are the same 27 grievances that we have now against Barack Obama. I'm actually working on a project to
I think there's probably more than 27, but...
Well, there is more, but the original 27 grievances that our founding fathers had against why we needed to commit treason against our sovereign country, which was England at the time,
right,
and punishable by death. George Washington committed treason by carrying arms against
England, right?
Right. So those 27 same grievances, at minimum, are the same ones, and that's going to come out here in the next couple of weeks. I'll have that on my website.
Awesome.
So I want people to actually look at that.
Well, we've got to take a break. Can I ask you to hold that thought? We've got to take the quarter-hour break. I definitely want to talk, and we got a minute or two before then, but just be heads up that it's coming.
Okay. Yeah, and the other thing is on the NDAA, I agree with you. Unfortunately, a lot of politicians they don't vote on something on its own merit, so they have to lump a bunch of stuff that's totally not relevant to one another.
Right.
And that's how they pass bad
that
legislation.
Omnibus principle.
Right.
Omnibus, folks, means that you take a bunch of unrelated crap, throw it all together, and say this is what we're going to pass.
Right.
And these 11th hour insertions of amendments that nobody's had a chance to read or evaluate or study, and then 9 times out of 10, that stuff is justified based on the fact that they've been paid to insert that. They've been bribed to insert it. You can call it what you want. Lobbying is bribery. End of discussion.
And that goes to true transparency. We don't have that. The president claims to have it, but it's evident in Obamacare. Nancy Pelosi herself said you have to pass it to know what's in it.
Exactly.
We can't do that.
Was that a telling moment of truth out of the number one liar in the American Congress, or what?
Yeah, and people still believe it.
Holy smoke. I'm sorry. I don't know that she is the number one liar. I think Harry Reid may have her superseded in that category. I
think it's a close race between her, Reid, and Obama.
I'm telling you, man, with that triumvirate, we're destined for doom.
The one guy that actually had the courage to say that Obama's a liar was chastised and ridiculed. So
for saying
a lot of other
right?
people, right? And so a lot of other politicians, they don't want to do that, so they don't come out and call him out on his lies.
Well, we're going to take a break, folks. The numbers are 257-1111 and 866-554-6636. Call in here with your questions, comments, thoughts, and opinions for Hector. This is an important race, and it's one that is absolutely magnificently critical to Missouri. So make sure you're participating. All right, we'll be right back. Oh, yeah. That's a catchy song. I like it.
You gotta love it. You can't help but dance to it, right?
I love that wailing guitar in the background. I'm a frustrated musician, I can't play a lick, but I love it.
Yeah, same here. I appreciate the skill because I don't have it.
Absolutely. So let's talk about some stuff that is pertinent today, because unlike the national press, I'm not going to pop smoke and want to talk about crap like condoms and
Right. Yeah.
I want to talk about real issues, right? I want to talk about term limits. I want to talk about the NDAA. I want to talk about standalone bills, right? Where no more of this omnibus nonsense where we shovel, 800 amendments into a bill and pass it. Nobody's read them. Nobody's done any homework on it. We end up with all these unintended consequences. Nobody has any concept what this really going to do. It's like shooting in the dark and hoping that you don't hit something. And then I want to talk about the Federal Reserve.
Okay.
That is one of my pet peeves. I can't stand these guys. They have been raping and ripping off the American public of trillions of dollars for 100 years. They're coming up on their 100th year anniversary in 2013, and we absolutely got to get rid of these scumbags.
Yeah, I agree.
So let's talk a little bit about which one of these do you want to, and if you have a topic that you want to tackle that I haven't mentioned, bring it up. What is it?
Well, my number one priority is the economy. We cannot have a strong, prosperous country with a strong military that could defend against foreign threats if we don't have a strong economy. So that's my priority, but not to say that there isn't other things out there that are equally important. But right now, I think most Americans, I feel the pain of most Americans in losing a job. I myself lost a job, had to deal with trying to find a job, taking a pay cut. So I certainly feel the pain, and I've talked to business owners. I've talked to people out there looking for jobs, and people are scared and they're afraid. And we see it in the amount of food stamps that go up.
Right.
So
we're at an all-time high for food stamps, folks,
right,
like we were in the 1930s after the Great Depression. Exactly. Unfortunately, they had a guy, by the way, the other night who came on, and he was a senator. I can't remember his name. He's from Illinois. And this guy called it like it is. He said, the Democratic Party has enslaved the African American population, and they're trying to enslave the Latino population because their goal is to get these people addicted to the dole.
Mike, I'm glad you said that.
But let me interrupt you for 1 second, by the way. Caller, whoever you were, please call back. Our phone system is screwy, and we dropped the call by mistake. And I definitely want to hear your thoughts or opinions or whatever it was that you were calling in about. So do me a favor and call right back, please.
We actually had another caller who had an issue you wanted to bring up.
Okay.
Have you heard of Pebble?
We had another caller who didn't want to come on the air, and he wants to talk about Pebble.
It's something up in Alaska. It's a cave or mine they were trying to dig, and there were pros and cons.
I don't know. I'll have to look it up. Okay. Anyway, go ahead, Hector. I'm sorry.
Well, I'm glad you said that, Mike, because for the last 2 years, Senator Claire Mccaskill 2 years ago, I asked her a question, and I asked her, what is she doing to stop Obama from fundamentally transforming America? And she came out and said, nobody said that. He never said that. Whoever said that's lying to you. So you can actually see that video on my webpage as well, on the homepage.
Oh, really?
But she came out and said that the president wants to preserve the American way of life, and that's not true. What to go back to the question that you asked about food stamps and the black community, a lot of people don't realize that some of the prominent black leaders in the 60s were actually Republicans. Actually, after the Civil War, all blacks were Republicans. It was the Republican Party, the party of Lincoln, that freed the slaves.
Exactly. And by the way, ladies and gentlemen who are listening, the Democratic Party was the one who fought against freeing the slaves.
And they were the party that actually fought for segregation, that didn't want integration in the 60s.
They've actually achieved, by the way, what they set out to block in the 1860s, which is they've continued to enslave the black American population by actually making them economic slaves instead of physical slaves.
And here's what happened in the 60s. The programs of LBJ, the Great Society, actually broke down the black community. We had